So it would seem that Blizzard actually plans to have annually Diablo 4 expansion releases, which has caused quite an uproar in the community. Recently, there was an interview of Rod Ferguson where he discussed the future of Diablo 4. While normally a company having a roadmap set in place in a content-filled future would be a good thing, however, I think the way D4 is handling the situation is pretty poor. But let's take a look at the actual source of where this info has come from and why fans seem to be upset. This is a broader question. How long does the future of Diablo 4 go? How far does that vision go? You know, we've come through the launch, which had a really nice condensed campaign, and now we're at the seasonal stuff. Like, how does that live? That was the question posed to Rod Ferguson, and here was his response. Years and years. That is the thing we are focused on. When you look at the launch of the game and this first season, we see that as building a foundation on which we could build for the future. So we look at our quarterly seasons and we look at our annual expansions. Those are the things we're really focused on for our live service. We got plans, we have storylines that will go well into the future. We're always leapfrogging our seasons and leapfrogging our expansions. So it's something we're going to do for a long time. We are excited. So we have quite a bit to unpack here. The first thing I want to bring up is the idea that they're planning on doing expansions in a leapfrog style, like they did the seasons. Because I think while that may sound like a good idea, it is anything but. The first season was unable to address a ton of issues the community had about the game, since the first season was actually completed before the game even launched. So if the paid expansions are done in the same leapfrog format, then I think Blizzard is setting themselves up to be in a state where they're unable to address any sort of feedback in a timely manner. This is the reason why resistances are not going to be fixed until season 2. It's also the reason why season 2 is finally going to address the concerns about the super low drop rate for the Uber uniques, or the lack of endgame content. Overall, it's just really strange to me to have a pipeline that is so inflexible that you're unable to correct any sort of issue the game has. If this expansion is really supposed to release a year after launch, then it's already well into development. And it's been in development before the game was even released to the public. After all, there's no way they could build an entire expansion in a single year, especially a developer like Blizzard. Let's be real, they're not exactly known for their quick development times. Though I must admit, I'm kinda wondering if Blizzard made this announcement as a way to try to deflect from the lack of content in the game and sort of ease the concerns of the community. After all, I'm sure you've seen the forums and all the YouTube videos. People are very concerned about the lack of content or endgame in Diablo 4. And it wouldn't be the first time Blizzard told this statement about yearly expansions coming to one of their games, because they did it before with World of Warcraft. As you can see from this headline dating all the way back in 2013, they actually had plans for yearly expansions. Now, another curious thing about this timeline is if you actually look at this chart, this was made during the Mist of Pandaria era, where there was a massive 14-month drought. So maybe they made the announcement of yearly expansions because WoW players were not very happy about the game. However, the expansion that followed that announcement was Warlords of Draenor, and that expansion ended up even having a longer content drought than Mist of Pandaria. How did you go from planning yearly releases to going over 400 days without a single content patch? It's almost like the Diablo 4 team is sitting there saying, hey, we got a lot of bad negative press. Twitch viewership is down. The player base has taken a massive hit. What can we do to ease the concerns of the community? Here's an idea. Let's do what the WoW team did 10 years ago and just promise an abundance of content coming in a yearly fashion. Oh, that's gonna work. However, you know what's crazy? is I think the Diablo 4 team is actually going to pull this off. I truly think we will most likely get yearly expansions. Unlike the WoW team, D4 or the Diablo devs are going to deliver, and here's why. We're going to be getting yearly expansions of low quality content. You want to know why I think this? Let's look at some of the key features coming in Season 2. Updated elemental resistance systems. Vulnerable, overpower, and critical strike damage updates. Other companies would call this a hot fix, and Blizzard calls this seasonal content. I mean, even Diablo 1 had a resistance system that worked way back in 1996. How about this one? Stashes can be searched and filtered. What an interesting idea. After all, why has no other game in the genre thought of having searchable stash tabs? With top quality content coming in the seasons, I can't imagine what they're going to pack in the yearly expansions. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt them just reusing assets from Diablo Immortal, throwing it in an expansion and charging you full price every year to play those features in Diablo 4. Look at Season 2. Do you think it's a coincidence that it's based around vampires and the new class coming to Diablo Immortal is a vampire class? Yeah, it makes me wonder how many of those vampire powers we're supposed to collect in D4 are already present in Diablo Immortal. Yeah, I'm very interested in finding out. But I would love to hear what you all think. Do you all agree with Blizzard's approach on how they're handling Diablo 4? What do you think about the announcement that they're aiming for a yearly expansion? And do you think those expansions will be worth your money? I highly doubt it. But let me know your overall thoughts in the comments down below. And if you made it this far and did enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. As for me, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.